Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar, How Secure is Atlassian Cloud? Busting Common Cloud Security Myths. I'm Barett Aatan, Managing Director at Corptech and your host for the day. With me on the panel today are Bogdan Viher, the Global Channel Director at HYCU, and Askin Dan, Solution Engineer at Atlassian. So before we start busting some myths for you, please know that we will be recording this session today, and you'll get the recording via email after the webinar. Also, we'll be looking at your questions after we've covered some myths. So please start typing your queries as soon as you have some into the comment box, and we'll answer as many as possible at the end. Now, let's look at what we have on the webinar agenda for today. Slide, thank you. So we'll start with a brief introduction of Corptech Technology Partners. I'll be talking a bit about how we've been associated with Atlassian since the beginning, as well as about our recent partnership with HYCU. You'll then hear a word of introduction from our speakers for today. And then, of course, we get into the main topic, busting common myths about Atlassian cloud security, adoption, data resilience, and data residency. The three of us will then share some insights on how best you can ensure seamless cloud adoption and protection, and take you through some customer examples. Hopefully, we'll have some questions in the chat box by then, which we'll take turns to answer. And before we wrap up, I'll explain how Corptech's Atlassian license audit and optimization packages can help you thoroughly analyze and review your projects and instances. As our webinar guests, all of you who have joined us today will have the opportunity to choose these premium audits for your organization for free. So please don't forget to reach out to us after this webinar if you're interested. Now, let me introduce myself. That's me, your host. I'm the co-founder and managing director at Corptech Technology Partners, and I'm based out here in Melbourne, Australia. I come with nearly 2 decades of experience in IT consulting, testing, service delivery, project management, and I primarily focus on the Atlassian side of things here at Corptech today. Now, talking about Corptech Technology Partners, we're Australia's leading IT consulting firm, specializing in providing top-tier services in the Atlassian and Salesforce domains. As you can see here, we are a trusted Atlassian Goal solution and implementation partner. And we have been helping several large and medium-sized enterprises in Australia become agile with Atlassian product suite. We're also the chosen partner for Salesforce, HubSpot, Talent, and Opkey. Additionally, we offer custom development solutions, software test automation, and technical workforce solutions. Our dynamic team includes more than 80 solution consultants currently operating from Australia, New Zealand, the United States, and India. Excuse me. And these, as you can see, are some of our prestigious clients. Please visit our website case study page to read more about some of our success stories. And there are some interesting ones in there which you'll be interested in. Now, let's introduce our partners. Talking about Corptech's partnership with Atlassian, as I've said, Corptech is a sizable team of Atlassian geeks. Being their preferred Gold partner, Corptech is uniquely positioned to help you maximize the value of your Atlassian applications through tailored workflows. We have deep knowledge of Atlassian tools such as Jira Software, Confluence, Service Management, and Bitbucket. We can design workflows that automate processes, integrate data, and enhance collaboration across teams. Additionally, our technical expertise extends to Atlassian marketplace add-ons and integrations such as Jira add-ons, Confluence macros, and Bitbucket plugins. We can leverage these add-ons, plugins, and macros to enhance the functionality and the capabilities of your Atlassian tools and provide your business with comprehensive solutions. Now, moving on to Corptech's partnership with HYCU. HYCU is the world's leading data protection and cloud backup as a service platform provider. They help you restore projects, tasks, epics, bugs, configurations, issues, etc. in Jira and Jira sites and spaces in Confluence, incidents and service requests in JSM, and critical data in Trello. HYCU offers hybrid and multi-cloud management, disaster recovery, on-demand and cross-platform data migrations, data security, and compliance assurance. As you can see here, HYCU's Atlassian Cloud support includes Jira Software, Confluence, and JSM, Trello, Product Discovery, JWM, and Assets. And Bitbucket is coming soon, of course. Together with Corptech's expertise, we can not only help you migrate to the Atlassian Cloud in a scalable and flexible way, but also help you safeguard and recover your Atlassian data. Moving on to the next slide, I would like to now introduce my co-speakers for today's session, Bogdan Viher from HYCU and Askin Dan from Atlassian. Bogdan, if you would like to say a few words, please.
Yeah, thank you, Barett. I love to. So at HYCU, we've been active in the data protection space for a very long time. And what we are seeing in the last 10 years or so is that, unfortunately, the backup industry doesn't have a really good answer when it comes to data protection challenges of modern SaaS applications, as well as public cloud platform as a service functionality. So our aim is really to redefine data protection in this space, and that's what we'll talk about today, especially specifically around Atlassian Cloud. Thank you.
Thank you, Bogdan. And next, I'd like to request Askin to please introduce himself to the audience.
Thanks, Barett. Hey everyone, my name is Askin and I'm a solution engineer here at Atlassian. And I work with some of our biggest customers in the APAC region to help them optimize their Atlassian footprint and migrate into the Atlassian Cloud. So thank you so much for having me, and I really look forward to busting some of these myths and share how our customers make the most of their Atlassian suite today.
Thank you, Askin. Now let's start busting some myths, shall we? So the first myth says, my data and apps will be safer and under my control if I keep them on premises rather than on the cloud. Let's hear what Bogdan has to say about this. Bogdan, would you like to kick off?
Thank you, Barett, for this intro. So what we see is that organizations are very much aware that on premises, they are responsible for everything, for availability, for performance, and security of their business critical apps and data. And deploying a data protection solution or backup is never really a question. It's a mandatory practice. So in the cloud, the SaaS vendor and the customer must agree on who is responsible for what. And this is known as a shared responsibility model. Now, this model very clearly states that the cloud vendor is responsible for availability and security of their infrastructure and their application. But the customer is responsible, among other things, for their data. So with SaaS, as we know, it's highly unlikely that a hardware failure will result in any data loss due to built-in redundancies. But there are other reasons. For example, accidental deletions, malicious users, scripting bugs, add-on bugs, cyber attacks that can cause lost data. So to avoid lost productivity and downtime, reputational damage even, a strong data protection solution absolutely needs to be put in place to enable quick and flexible recovery in those situations. So what's your take on this, Askin?
Yeah, thank you, Bogdan. And it's true, right? Our on-premise customers often feel like they have a greater sense of control of this environment, and they're comforted by the fact that everything is within their own network. Ensuring security, as Bogdan mentioned before, is certainly a mandatory practice for a lot of these organizations today. However, what we need to consider is the trade-off, right? With this greater sense of control also comes significant investments in time, in money, and the technical expertise to effectively run and maintain these environments. And it often puts tremendous pressure on IT teams that are often, over capacity and reactive towards identifying and responding to these security threats. And so that's why a lot of our customers choose Atlassian Cloud. We have a dedicated team that will handle things like upgrades, security, maintenance, and the compliance requirements so that your IT team can actually focus on more proactive and business critical issues. With Atlassian Cloud also comes with state-of-the-art security, reliability, and compliance. We currently hold certifications for a variety of standards such as ISO 27001, SOC 2, GDPR, and we continue to invest really heavily in security, in cloud security, to provide our customers with the peace of mind to operate on our platform.
Thank you for those insights, Bogdan and Askin. That was quite an eye-opener, wasn't it? Now let's look at the second myth. I cannot choose a location where my cloud data can be hosted. Askin, please, is this true?
Yeah, thank you, Barett. Choosing the location of where your data is hosted is actually a really common question that comes up with my customers that are thinking about moving to the cloud. It's no wonder, right? Data residency is a key consideration for them due to compliance and regulatory requirements, especially for customers that operate in highly regulated industries such as finance and healthcare, as well as government. So the ability to control where their data is hosted is critical. And so with Atlassian, customers can in fact control where their in-scope product data is hosted for their products, such as those in the Jira suite, like your Jira software, Jira Service Management, Jira Work Management, Jira Product Discovery, as well as Confluence. So data points such as your issues, your boards data, sprints data, things like attachments, comments, Confluence pages and spaces can all be pinned to specific geographical locations. Currently, customers can pin their data into Australia, into Canada, the EU, Germany, Singapore, and the US. But over the next few months, you'll see that Atlassian will be doubling down on this as we are looking to enable data residency for our customers in Brazil, in India, in Japan, in Switzerland, the UK, and South Korea. So you can see that we're really leaning in so that our customers in these regions can comply with local requirements. So definitely do keep an eye out over the next few weeks. But in the meantime, I'm going to pass this over to Bogdan.
Thanks, Askin. Yes, data residency is often very important when it comes to data protection too. A very common customer question actually we hear is, where are my backups going to be stored? Now, HYCU is very unique among Atlassian Cloud backup solutions in that regard. So what we enable you to do is simply take your own S3 storage and plug it into HYCU. And HYCU will then use that storage for keeping your backups. Therefore, copies of customer data will always be fully under their control. I sometimes call this approach data residency compliance by design. Now, additionally, customers can further secure their backup copies by making them air-gapped and immutable. These are two security features that basically prevent ransomware access and corruption of your backups, and that, of course, helps in ensuring successful recovery. Back to you, Barett.
Thank you, Bogdan. So rest assured, folks, you can choose to host your data in one of the 6 locations mentioned by Askin just before. Now, moving on to the third myth, some people believe that Atlassian takes care of cloud compliance requirements for their customers, or that compliance is a given with the Atlassian Cloud. Askin, again, what's your take on this?
Thanks, Barett. And yeah, that's one of the beauties and benefits of moving to Atlassian Cloud, right? And it's our customers being able to leverage the certification that we have attained. As you can imagine, being a cloud-first company, cloud security is critically important for us and for our customers. And so to ensure that our customers can operate in that secure environment, Atlassian has invested heavily to attain and to remain compliant with a range of different standards. Previously, I spoke about SOC 2, I spoke about ISO. These are your industry standards and best practice. But we are also GDPR compliant for our customers in the EU, HIPAA compliant for our healthcare industry, FedRAMP, and these certifications are ever evolving. And I encourage you to go to our website to see the full list of certifications we do have. But irrespective of that, by moving to Atlassian Cloud, it's true that we can ensure that your systems and environments are compliant with these standards that we've listed before. But at the same time, we very much do view this as a partnership. So it is up to you as our customers to manage your data that's within this organization, to manage the users and the user accounts that are accessing this data to ensure that your organization is using our products in a compliant manner as well. But yeah, Bogdan, I'd love to pass it to you to hear your thoughts on this.
Thank you, Askin. Yes, compliance. Now, whether on-premise or in the cloud, customers are first and foremost always responsible to meet whatever their compliance requirements are. Now, backup is typically part of a wider business continuity / disaster recovery area, and that area defines how customers are to maintain operations when unexpected disruptions occur, such as outages, cyber attacks, and similar. And also compliance requirements would vary by industry. They would vary by region or by specific local regulation. And they would also often be captured by standards that we all know, GDPR, PCI, or HIPAA. So what do IT organizations typically need to do to be compliant? As always, first you develop the plans. Those plans need to include risk assessments, continuity strategies, recovery procedures. Then you need to regularly test those plans and update them if they prove to be ineffective in certain areas. Then, and this is important, you need to implement all the redundancy and backup solutions for critical IT systems and data. Then, of course, all the employees need to be trained that are involved in this procedure. So when the time comes, this execution is flawless and quick and efficient. And then, of course, all your compliance efforts need to be documented. So when auditor comes, you can show them, look, this is what we are doing and we are fine. Now, as always, non-compliance is never good, right? Typically, this would result in legal penalties, fines, reputational damage. Nobody wants that. But really, at the end, to summarize and to put it really simply, a backup and recovery solution is always a critical and even essential part of any compliance effort. Over to you, Barett.
Thank you, Bogdan. I personally believe that companies should take responsibility for their data and applications and do your own due diligence when it comes to matters of compliance for your industry. Now, the next myth we have is an interesting one. It says, I could risk losing important data while migrating my instances to the Atlassian Cloud. Askin, what do you think about this?
Yeah, thanks, Barett. Yeah, it's right. Like when you think about cloud migrations, it's kind of like moving houses, right? You have to move all your stuff from one location to another. And throughout the entire journey, you're worried that you've left something behind only to never see it again. So this idea of losing data is a point of concern for our customers that are moving into the cloud. These migrations can often be complex, just based on the sheer size of data that's being migrated. You know, there are large ecosystems of applications and perhaps a lot of, custom fields and workflows and automations. And so to make this journey easy and more transparent for our customers, we actually developed several tools to help provide this additional level of visibility to the migration process. And they're the Jira and Confluence Cloud Migration Assistants. With these tools, you'll be able to assess your current marketplace app landscape. It gives you visibility into the kind of data that gets migrated as part of these processes and how they get migrated. You also have access to pre-migration checklists, reports, error logs, and you'll also be able to monitor this migration process throughout the entire journey. Additionally, Atlassian will also give you a dedicated cloud migration manager to help provide some of that strategic planning and guidance. But for a lot of our tenured customers who may have, really complex environments, we do recommend working with one of our partners because they really provide that hands-on keyboard support to ensure that you are covered throughout the entire journey. But I will pass this over to Bogdan to share his thoughts.
Thank you, Askin. That's great information. Now, HYCU is constantly exploring different data mobility use cases across our entire data protection landscape we cover with our solution. We can, for example, easily migrate virtual machines from on-prem environment to the public cloud and bring it back while we maintain full consistency of hosted applications. This, for example, enables us implementing some very interesting disaster recovery scenarios. Now, with Atlassian applications and the large ecosystem of marketplace add-ons, the data mobility does get slightly more complex and basically requires really expertise of a seasoned partner, such as Corptech, of course, to be executed seamlessly. So this is always our recommendation. Back to you, Barett.
Thank you, Bogdan. Yes, together, Corptech and HYCU can definitely help you in smoothly transitioning to the Atlassian Cloud without any hiccups. Please reach out to us if you'd like to discuss this further. Now, we come to the final myth for the day, and it says, it is Atlassian's responsibility to back up my cloud data and apps. Is that true, Askin?
Yeah, thanks, Barett. And yeah, this is a really common question that my customers ask me as well. It's true that Atlassian operates a comprehensive backup program. However, these are, system level backups that are used for disaster recovery and business continuity in the event of major disruptions that can impact the availability of our cloud products. So as a result, when data is lost due to customer-initiated destructive changes, for example, a project was deleted, whether accidentally or maliciously, Atlassian will unfortunately not be able to recover your data as part of this backup program. And I just wanted to share slides very quickly. Hopefully you can see this, but this is the shared responsibilities model that Bogdan mentioned earlier. And it defines the responsibilities between SaaS vendors like Atlassian and our customers. You can see on the left-hand side, Atlassian is responsible for ensuring the security and the reliability of our applications, the systems that they run on and the environments that those systems are hosted within. But our customers on the right-hand side are responsible for, managing the data that sits within our products, as well as the users who can access them. Now, I was working with a customer based out of Queensland who are required by law to maintain records for 7 years. And so if you think about, Atlassian that has, I think, somewhere around 250,000 customers worldwide, maintaining backups for all of our customers across the globe is just not scalable. But if you are like one of these customers, what they do is they export this data and they manage its storage internally so that they can at least mitigate the risk of destructive changes within their production environment. But Bogdan, I might pass this on to you. I'd love to hear your experience on this topic.
Great summary, Askin. In essence, and we very often see this, most cloud vendors tend to offer a full export of customers' data. Now, on top of these exports, you can potentially develop a homegrown Atlassian export solution, but this will always have some limitations, for example, backup frequency. That is limited. For example, in Atlassian Cloud, you can only export data once every 48 hours. Then recovery. Recovery operation is typically all or nothing. When you perform the import of exported data, you will actually restore your data to the state as it was at the time of the export, and then all the changes that have been done in the meantime are lost. What about managing exports? You need to tag the exported files correctly and then protect those files against ransomware attacks. Also, consistency is important. People need to not forget to perform those exports. And then you should also be verifying every now and then if those exports actually work correctly. And last but not least, really, are exports really complete? Some data, sometimes you are not able to export. A good example is, for example, assets in Jira Service Management. But now let's also take a look beyond Atlassian Cloud. Another challenge is with this approach is how do you protect 20 other business critical SaaS applications? The above approach, one application at a time, doesn't really scale, and also it's not reliable and flexible enough to manage 20 SaaS applications. Now, HYCU addresses all these challenges and also enables many other use cases. For example, you have fully automated backups that run 24/7, so nobody needs to remember to do something and every now and then. Then also one-click granular recovery. You can restore any piece of Atlassian data down to a single attachment, but not just with Atlassian, also with any other SaaS application you may have in your organization. Then very simple integration with your ITSM tool. If something goes wrong within backup, we will simply automatically create a ticket within your favorite ITSM tool, and then we become part of your standard process. Customers can also plug into HYCU their own storage, as we have already discussed, and this enables data residency, long-term data retention, and also security compliance automatically. And then you can also simply enable ransomware-proof backups, another win for the customer. And besides Atlassian Cloud apps, HYCU can also protect virtually any other SaaS application as well. So it can really become a centralized SaaS backup solution for your organization. And if you think that your organization does not use more than 3 SaaS applications, well, HYCU can show you what the real truth is. What we have in HYCU is a built-in functionality that can also discover all the SaaS applications that you are using, and you may well be surprised. Over to you, Barett.
Thank you for these insights, Bogdan. For those of you who would like to take a look at Atlassian's Cloud Security Shared Responsibility model, we'll include the link in our emails, which you'll receive right after this webinar. With this, we end the myth busting for today. If you'd like to see us debunk more myths for you, obviously, please reach out to us, and we'll be glad to help. Moving to the next slide. Now, let's summarize some of the cloud security and compliance best practices that we learned today. So it is evident that Atlassian is fully committed to the cloud, where customers can anticipate ongoing innovation in product features and access a variety of compliance certifications. Atlassian takes responsibility for the security of their application systems and their hosting environments. However, customers are accountable for safeguarding their company data and user accounts. To create a secure and transparent environment, Atlassian has introduced data residency options in 6 locations. And as you can recall, these include the US, EU, Australia, Germany, Singapore, and Canada, with plans for further expansion soon. They also maintain a range of comprehensive security programs and hold certifications for various standards such as ISO, SOC 2, GDPR, HYPA, and more. And finally, for effective data protection, your solution should automate backup operations seamlessly, enable easy user-initiated data backups, protect backups from ransomware threats, ensuring uninterrupted and flexible backup schedules to meet your specific needs. And Askin, what do you think are the key takeaways for our audience today?
Yeah, no, thanks for that, Barett. I think ultimately you summed it up really well in that first stop point, right? Looking into the medium and long-term horizon, Atlassian is certainly all in for cloud. And you can see that through some of the things that you've mentioned. You know, from a data residency perspective, our location footprint has doubled over the last 12 months. You know, we're constantly working on attaining new certifications to meet our customers' security requirements, such as, you know, HIPAA compliance for our customers within the healthcare industry, as well as FedRAMP for our, you know, government clients based out of the US. And we're continuously looking to expand on that. And furthermore, you know, what you'll see is our cloud-specific products are expanding as well, with releases of like Confluence Whiteboard and Jira Product Discovery. And with that, we also have Beacon, which is our observability product, which helps our customers understand their security practices as well as governance in a more proactive manner. And so as we see our customers shift more from server into the cloud as well, we want to meet them where they're at to ensure that, you know, all of their requirements are met so that they can operate in a secure and transparent environment.
Thank you, Askin. Now, Bogdan, would you like to share your perspective as well?
Yeah, absolutely, Barett. Thank you. This was a very extensive coverage of the topic, and you know, from our perspective, from data protection perspective, I'd say first, every customer that migrates to Atlassian Cloud, of course, needs to carefully study shared responsibility model, simply to understand how they need to implement their data protection strategy and ensure, first and foremost, how they need to remain compliant. Then, while doing that, you need to pay special attention, I think, to that your data solution, a data protection solution, leaves no important gaps. For example, that your backups are automated, so you don't have to worry and think about them. They're just available there when you need them. Then, to enable that you own your backup data and that you can do backups as often as you need and keep them as long as you need. So all this flexibility is very required, again, to remain compliant. And then, of course, you need to make sure that your backups are protected against ransomware attacks. So that's the second thing. And the last one, I would say, also look beyond, of course, Atlassian Cloud. You, as a business, you, of course, are likely also running other business critical SaaS applications. And HYCU can definitely help you get visibility first and foremost, which those apps are. And then we also have capability to help you protect those applications just then with a single click, same as Atlassian Cloud. So really unify your data protection strategy and deliver great solution for your Atlassian Cloud needs, but then also beyond that. So that would be my recap for today.
Thank you, Bogdan. And now for the Q&A session. So let's see what our audience would like to learn more about these topics. So let's see what's in the comment box already. And we'll go with first come, first served. We've got Ari asked a very good question. Will our data security be at risk when my company's cloud data scales in the future? I think, Askin, I will pass this one on to you if you'd like to answer that.
Yeah, thanks, Barett. And thank you, Ari, for that question. Yeah, it's definitely something that comes up a lot of the time when our customers are thinking about moving to the cloud. When it comes to data security, kind of like I touched on earlier on this webinar, the key benefits is that you reduce that reliance of your IT teams to have to focus on IT security by allowing Atlassian to take care of that for you. And one of the key motivators for that is the scalability factor. So when as our customers expand their footprint, Atlassian has customers that have, 30, 40,000 licenses. Cloud provides you with the scalability that server just doesn't. And so from a data security perspective, it means that even as you scale, you're not at risk to the same risks that you would otherwise be exposed to when you're at server, to ensure that your business can continue to thrive and grow without being exposed to those risks.
Cool. That's a good question and good answer. Thank you, guys. And next one is Prab Singh. How easy it is to choose the data center from the 6 locations shared by Atlassian? What is the process? So I can just give you a very quick brief from our experience. So usually it's just as simple as raising a request through the support portal of Atlassian and asking to move to a specific data center location. And if you have a partner like ourselves, you can just simply reach out and we'll manage that for you and get that done in a very quick time. But maybe, Askin, you can give a little bit more insights into what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you can imagine, something like pinning your data to a specific location isn't something that everyone should be able to do. So it is something that you can do within the admin hub as an organizational admin. So someone that holds the keys to that environment. What they're able to do is go to the org admin hub. And as part of that, I think there's a section called security. If you click into that, there should be a data residency tab. And that page will effectively allow you to pin your data to a specific one of those 6 locations. So it's relatively a straightforward process that you guys can go through to help you pin your data to the relevant locations.
Yeah, great question, great answer. Thank you, guys. And next one is Peter Dean asked, what is the average downtime expected during migration from cloud? So again, I will give a quick brief insights from our experience as well. So it obviously depends on the size of the organization and how much data they have and how many users are involved and what kind of add-ons are currently installed in the current server instance. And obviously partners like us, if you reach out and ask us to help you through, we follow Atlassian's 7-step migration process, basically, which makes it a little bit more predictable in terms of the downtimes. Otherwise, no one can really tell you just off the top of their head how long the downtime is going to take. So by doing enough assessment, planning, and enough testing before even going live, we'll be able to point out, okay, this is going to be the downtime for your organization when we go live. In which instance, your server will be put on the read-only mode while we complete the migration, and then obviously we take the server's instance off and point everyone to the cloud instance. And that can actually change and differ anywhere between 2 to 3 hours to anywhere upwards, basically. And maybe this is another question asking from his experience, if you can give us more insights about.
Yeah, thanks, Barett, and thanks, Peter, for the question. Yeah, Barett's absolutely right. The downtime does vary quite significantly depending on the size of the data that you are looking to migrate. We have customers that take from a really long time to being able to go by a phased approach over a weekend to migrate their data into the cloud without really affecting the day-to-day operations of their business teams or their software teams. And so as part of the migration process, what we strongly recommend our customers do is to work with partners such as Corptech to go through that pre-migration checklist to understand, what is the scope of the data that you want to migrate, how long that process can take. From Atlassian's perspective, what we can also do is provide you guys with a cloud migration manager that works hand in hand with our partners and our customers to provide you with best practice along the entire journey so that you know exactly what to expect as we go through that process.
Cool. Thank you again. Another great question, great answer. We'll next have a look at Karen's question. Karen asked, there have been numerous attacks on cloud products in the recent past. Can we still trust the cloud? Bogdan, would you like to give us some insights on this?
Yes, of course. So I would say, in general, it's no surprise that we see increasing attacks in public cloud and SaaS applications because bad actors will actually go where customer data is going. 15, 20 years ago, everything was on-premise and life was simple to protect on-premise, was simpler. And this is what bad actors went after, your data on-prem. But then everything now, with the explosion of SaaS and cloud, data ends up being in all these different locations. And of course, attack surface is getting bigger. And we also see that attackers are following where the data is going and increasing their activities and also coming up with more sophisticated ways to go after your data. So I would say having these multiple silos of data in different locations in public cloud and SaaS, of course, increases the challenge to protect yourself. But with a good data protection strategy, I think you can absolutely minimize that risk to minimum and make sure that even if you get hit, you can recover quickly. I think that's really the important part. And HYCU even has some abilities to help you assess your resilience against the ransomware attacks and how quickly you can recover. So together with Corptech, we can, of course, also help you assess those situations for you, specifically with Atlassian Cloud, but also in general for other applications you have running out there.
Thank you, Bogdan. And great question, Karen. That's a really great question, like that one. And next one, Michelle Courtney. Would Australian products on the servers still have security updates post Feb 2024, which is, by the way, about 111 days away from us, just to give you a little background. But Askin, if you can please answer this one too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And thanks, Michelle, for that question. Unfortunately, past the February 2024 date, that's our end of support deadline for server. It's not to say that you won't be able to use server anymore. All of our customers will still have perpetual licenses that they can leverage themselves. But however, unfortunately, the reality of that is that we won't be able to issue those security updates and patches along that way. But if you have intentions of looking into moving to data center or cloud, please do reach out to our partners like Corptech or your Atlassian representative, and we'll be happy to help go through some of the options that you have at your disposal.
Cool. Thank you, Askin. And next question will be Jerry Gordon. how do I perform an audit for my instances and usage of add-on apps? So Jerry, it's not a simple question that I can answer right here, but the best way is to basically look out for the email that will come out after this webinar, and you can just reach out to us. We can just have a simple discussion, unofficial, off the records, and we can just explain what the processes we go through to perform such audits on your Jira or Confluence instances or any other Atlassian products, as well as the usage of add-on apps, as well as the hygiene of your instances as well. So please look out for that email. Click the link that says, let's get an audit happening, and then we'll set up a session with you and walk you through what the process is about. And with that, I think we reach the end of our quick Q&A session. So we'll end it right there. And thank you all for your questions. You can always email us or connect with us directly if you have any more questions about Atlassian, whether it's licensing or cloud adoption, security or compliance. And we'll be able to get back to you and answer any of those questions. And moving on to the final slide, as promised, obviously, we're glad to offer all of you our premium Atlassian audit and optimization packages, which you can see involves the Atlassian Instance Hygiene Report, which I mentioned just before, products and add-ons usage analysis, as well as the user activity analysis. These reports basically are a detailed instance-by-instance audit of your organization's usage of these licenses, products, and add-ons based on your projects and configurations. And next slide, as you can see here, these reports help you review your usage and identify if redundant licenses are being paid for. We usually recommend these audits to most of Corptech customers, and this helps them assess their team's usage of products, document the exact number of product licenses being used, and audit their instances, projects, and workflows. With these reports, you can identify issues or areas of improvement, and our consultants can provide suggestions and recommendations for a cleanup activity after the audits. More importantly, with these audits, we can help you save more on your Atlassian licenses as well. In fact, we recently helped a fintech giant reduce their expenses on their Jira subscription and Confluence subscription by a whopping 60%, from around 1.6 million USD down to only 600,000. That was a great win for everyone. Your organization can also explore similar savings with us. At this scale or smaller scale, it does not matter, as long as we add value to your usage of Atlassian products. So please watch out for our email for the sample reports and instructions on how you can request a free assessment from Corptech, or get ideas how to do it yourself as well. So with that, we come to the end of today's webinar. Thank you for joining us today, and thanks the whole team organizing this. Thanks Bogdan, thanks Askin. We appreciate everyone's time and your participation, and hope that we've helped you become more confident in your cloud choices. And let me remind you that you'll be receiving the webinar recording and a copy of the Corptech presentation through the email shortly. We'll also be including the sample audit reports, which you will get to see, and the link to request a free assessment as well. Please do reach out to us to learn how Corptech can help you in your Atlassian journey. Thank you once again, and talk to you soon.